Hey guys, Marissa at KitchenTableStamper.com. I am warming up for a Stamp-A-Stack with the Taco Fiesta stamp set. So this is your heads up. It's very possible that this one is coming in May, like Cinco de Mayo. And this stamp set is in the January-April spring catalog. So just a heads up for those of you who follow my Stamp-A-Stacks and know that there is one coming for Taco Fiesta. We're going to do a warm-up project. I love these little Gilliam old-fashioned candy sticks. I got them on Amazon, and we're going to make a cute little treat box for them. I love the colors with Taco Fiesta, and so I thought it was just so appropriate. The sweet and fruity is often how Mexican desserts and candies go. The colors were great, and so I think it works. Mango might have been a little more appropriate, but peaches and cream were the right color. I'll give you an Amazon link below for these. All right, we're gonna start with our base for our treat box, and it's garden green. The box itself is 3 by 5 3/8, and then the back panel is 1 by 6 1/2. All right, let's get our Simply Score tool and we'll score up this box. I think you're gonna love how simple this treat is, and with these candy sticks and all the different flavors that they come in, you can really change up your theme for this little treat box. Very useful treat. Simple. We're gonna score at 1/2 and 1. We're going to rotate to the right and score at 1/2 and 1. We're going to rotate to the right and we're going to score at 1/2 and 1. All right, now let's get a bone folder and work these scores. We got some paper snips to trim it according to the template. All right, I'm going to go straight from the left side here. We're going to cut a little bit of an angle and then straight across the score. Then we're going to cut from the bottom, center panel, a little bit of an angle, and then another bit of an angle. So we're taking out the 2 corner squares, but with a little bit of an angle cut. Then we're going to take off this end square and remove the score with a little bevel right here. All right, that is the bottom cuts. Let's do that to the other side. Now the last thing I'm going to do, because I think it helps to narrow everything or to make nice smooth seams and joints, is to just bevel this last rectangle, this glue tab here on each side. All right, so there's the base of our box. Now let's get the Designer Series paper. I've got 2 pieces of Designer Series paper here. This is also from the January through April catalog. It's from Enjoy the Journey. Now, this paper is very kind of specific in its theme and in its suite to travel, but I encourage you to take a look at the B-sides of this paper because they are really fun patterns that could be used for nearly everything. So the first thing we're going to do is take this yellow piece, I think it looks like nachos, and we're going to adhere that to this box panel. This one is 7/8 of an inch by 4 1/4, and it'll center right in this middle panel here. Hold on to this one for just a minute. I'm going to take some tear and tape adhesive and put a little bit on the tabs on the outside of the box here. All right, so there's your adhesive placement. Let's remove the liner here. You're going to fold up the tab and make a square bottom for your box. Same here. Now remove the liner on the small bottom tab. You're going to use that to make the back glue tabs and the bottom back of the box. So just bring that in, squaring up as you go, and there is your treat box. Now let's get the backer, and we're going to adhere this box to the backer, and I like to do that this way. I like to bring my tear and tape adhesive up the glue tabs here, So 2 nice long strips of adhesive. And then remove the liner. We're going to hold it square and bring the backer to the box. Line it up across the bottom, and then as you apply the backer, make sure that your box is nice and square as you go. And there is your treat box. Use your bone folder here to really burnish that adhesive from the box to the backer. Now we'll take our piece of designer series paper for the liner. And this one is 7/8 by 3 inches. And this one's going to cover those seams and finish the back. Aren't those colors fabulous? All right, now let's do some stamping. Set aside our box for just a minute. You can add your little candies. They'll give you some weight when you wrap that tag and tie it up. You've got some resistance then. All right, Taco Fiesta is photopolymer. So I have my Stampin' Pierce matte, garden green, and Memento tuxedo black. I have a little tag here that I cut ahead. I actually cut 2 of them. They're the same tag. This one is pumpkin pie. This one is basic white. And they are the smallest tag with the clip corners from TaylorMade Tags Dies. Well, I got this little die chart for you. Let me show you what I did here. I also cut from a scrap of Melon Mambo the little D enforcer. Now you get 3 in one pass, so I'm just going to use that, not cut it on video, because I already have it left from my sample. All right, we've also got scrap basic white. I'm going to use Memento and stamp my little bowl of guacamole. And I'm using Memento to stamp my chips. And then we can set this aside for just a second and let that ink dry. Let's work on the tag. Got garden green ink and your nacho average friend. That's just so funny. I love all things punny. Let's see. I need to move this down a little bit so I can see. Okay. Not too bad. A little high, but it's level, so I'm going to take it. Done stamping. Let's get the ink pads out before we have an ink catastrophe. And so I don't lose the pieces because I'm notorious for it. Let's go ahead and put a little bit of glue at the bottom of the white tag, mat it with the pumpkin pie tag, a little bit of glue on the back of our Melon Mambo enforcer here. You can cut these with a scrap of adhesive sheet on your scrap of Melon Mambo, and this would be self-adhesive if you want to do that. Nacho average friend. We can set that aside for a second. Let's get some Stampin' Blends. I have Daffodil Delight, Melon Mambo, and now there are no garden green Stampin' Blends. So I don't know about you, but I think that is a pretty good representation of garden green. And how I do that is with Shaded Spruce, the combo, light and dark, and light Old Olive. All right, so let me show you how I do that. That's where we'll start. I'm going to take my Shaded Spruce combo, and I like to have all the markers with the caps loose in my non-dominant hand because we're going to just blend these up as we go. And I'll go with a light, but as full coverage as I can get without soaking the paper too much because we're going to do an extra blending step here, so lots of ink is going down. That's the light Shaded Spruce. Then I'll go through with the light Old Olive and do the same thing, little circles, and just blend the 2 different colors, and you'll start to see it's moving towards the direction of our garden green. Then I'll take the dark Shaded Spruce and I'll go kind of in where the artist has left some dots and swirls, and I'll add that, and I'll go back with my light Old Olive and just sweep over those dark shaded spruce areas. And that, my friends, is about as close to garden green as you're gonna get, but it wasn't too difficult, right? And now let's do our bowl. Got light melon mambo, and I'm just going to do a full coverage of the light, and then I'll add a shadow down the left side with the dark, and a skinny little shadow along the right side and the bottom, and then fill the feet almost entirely with the dark. Then where the light and dark come together, I'll just go along that edge with the light, little scribbly circles, and then finish filling the feet. Very simple blending there. Next up, the chips. I'm going to use my dark Daffodil Delight, and I'm filling the majority of this little set of two chips, leaving the right side. And then for my other little chip here, I'm going to fill almost entirely. And then I'll go back with some light Daffodil Delight and just blend that edge and finish the fill. All right, now we gotta fussy cut these. There are no dies. Makes me sad. I would love a die set for this one, but we're gonna just zip them out pretty quick, and they're not very hard shapes to cut. So grab your snips and give them a trim. I am gonna cut these two apart from each other, so we have the one chip and then the two chips as separate pieces. We're gonna spread them out across our design, and I am leaving a very small little white border. And if you don't hang around here all the time, then you don't know that I do that, because it throws down some cover for your fussy cutting. If you're not the perfect fussy cutter and you try to cut right along the line, and sometimes you're cutting on it, sometimes you're cutting it thin, sometimes you're cutting it off, sometimes you're getting a little white, that's going to be very apparent to the eye. But if you do a little white border, whether it gets a little thinner, a little wider, a little thinner, the artist's line is where the eye is going to be attracted, and it really does throw down some cover for your fussy cutting if you're not perfect. So just a little white line gives you that grace that you need, just in case it's not perfect. Because when you look at that, you're going to look at what the artist drew, not what I cut, right? All right, let's get this guy cut out too, same way. All right, ta-da, there it is. Let's get our treat back in here, and some black and white gingham ribbon. I like the contrast we have going on here. We're gonna wrap the box, I don't know, maybe 2 inches down, 1.5 inches down, somewhere there. And I like to have about from my thumb to my index finger for bows like this. That usually gives me enough room, but not too much. I don't throw too much away. So that's kind of how I measure that. It's just a approximate. And then we'll pull that tight, measure it out, cut it off the spool, and you'll see we won't have much waste. It usually works pretty well. All right, we're gonna slide the tag on the bottom. See how we're up and down? That's on purpose. And what we want to do is slide the tag from back to front. And you can snug this up again, push the tag all the way to the loop or to the knot. Now you're going to loop by pushing up. You're not twisting here, you just push up. So loop and hold it. You're just going to pinch it in between your index finger and your thumb. Swoop. You always swoop over the top of your index finger. Tuck, so fingertip to fingertip right here. See your index finger holding that space. So tuck and pull. Now you have the perfect bow. Do you see? The ears are up, the tails are down. You can snug this up and slide it to where you want it, up just a little bit. And once you got it where you want it, give it a little finesse. I'm going to put a little glue dot right underneath there so the tag stays exactly where I want it. I'll use the take your pick tool and lift a glue dot, hold this where I want it, lift the tag, and then just sandwich that glue dot right in there. Maybe that makes me a bit of a control freak. I can't have the tag just hanging like a tag. It's gotta be glued down. And then you'll see, here's my estimation, my little measuring device of using my hand. We're gonna throw away that. And then here we do have to clean up this edge because it's frayed from going through the tag, correct the angle, and that's it. So just a little rule of thumb, maybe that helps you to keep more of your ribbon on the spool and less in the trash can. Got some dimensional here, and I'm going to take one, put it right in the center of my little guacamole bowl, pop that on. Then I'm going to cut off from the edge, put a little bit on the top back of my single chip, and then we can put that in the dip. Now back to my mini glue dots. I'm going to take the bottom of my little nachos here, pick up a glue dot, and we can add that to the tag. Keep that glue dot way down on the bottom. We don't want exposed adhesive on the back. Cute, right? Now, because every project needs a little bit of sparkle, at least I think so, I'm going to bring in my favorite embellishment from the January-June catalog. I really love these flat back adhesive pearls. I think they give pearls kind of a refresh. The adhesive back pearls are a classic staple embellishment. These are adhesive back and flat. Got some big ones and some little ones. And I love the iridescence. I also love how flat they are. They add a little bit of sparkle, but they shine back that Daffodil Delight and Mango Melody and Garden Green that we're using in this project. That iridescence really ties everything together and gives a little shine, a little sparkle. All right, you guys, that's it. I hope you enjoyed the candy box. If you've got any questions, email marissa@kitchentablestamper.com. And to shop Stampin' Up 24/7, grab your Taco Fiesta stamp set now, because there is a Stamp-a-Stack coming. marisaalvarez.stampinup.net. All right, you guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.